Good day and welcome. I'm Stefan with Trending Update USA, bringing you the latest from the tennis world, where a fascinating comment from legend Martina Navratilova has reignited discussions about one of the sport's most captivating rivalries, Aryna Sabalenka versus Coco Gauff. In a recent interview, Navratilova said that Aryna Sabalenka is still rueing her loss to Coco Gauff, referencing that unforgettable 2023 US Open final that marked a major turning point for both players. The statement, which instantly caught the attention of fans and analysts alike, reflects the emotional and psychological depth of competition at the highest level of tennis. Sabalenka, known for her fiery intensity and powerful baseline game, was favored to win that night in New York. Yet Gauff's resilience and composure under pressure led to a stunning victory that continues to shape their ongoing rivalry today. Martina Navratilova, one of the most decorated players in tennis history, spoke candidly about how such defeats can linger for even the strongest athletes. According to her, Sabalenka may have moved forward physically and professionally, but emotionally, the loss to Gauff remains a bruise that has not fully healed. Navratilova noted that moments like these can define an athlete's mentality and motivate them to reach new levels of performance. For Sabalenka, the 2023 US Open final wasn't just another match, it was a defining moment that tested her composure, mindset, and capacity to handle the immense pressure that comes with being on the brink of a Grand Slam title. Navratilova's comments remind the tennis world that behind every great athlete's achievements lie the echoes of the matches that got away. Fans remember that final vividly. The Arthur Ashe Stadium was electric that night. Sabalenka started strong, using her trademark power and aggression to take the first set convincingly. Her explosive ground strokes and deep returns seemed unstoppable, and many expected her to close the match in straight sets. But Gauff, just 19 at the time, showed remarkable poise and adaptability. She began reading Sabalenka's serve better, extended rallies, and forced errors through relentless defense. By the third set, the tide had turned completely. Gauff's calm demeanor contrasted with Sabalenka's growing frustration, culminating in one of the most emotional finals in recent memory. When Gauff clinched the title, the crowd erupted, celebrating a new American champion, while Sabalenka was left to grapple with heartbreak on one of tennis's grandest stages. Navratilova's recent observation sheds light on how deeply that loss has resonated. She emphasized that Sabalenka's competitive spirit means she doesn't easily let go of defeats, especially when she knows she had the tools to win. It wasn't just about losing a match, Navratilova explained. It was about losing an opportunity that she might feel was hers to take. The comment resonated with fans who have followed Sabalenka's career closely, understanding her emotional nature and her desire to constantly prove herself. Sabalenka's reactions on court, whether celebrating victories or expressing frustration, have made her one of the most relatable and human figures on the tour. Since that US Open final, Sabalenka has continued to perform at an elite level, maintaining her place among the top players in the world. She won multiple titles afterward, showcasing her resilience and determination to move forward. Yet, Navratilova's remark touches on a truth that even the strongest athletes carry, that certain losses linger in the subconscious, shaping future performances. Sabalenka's powerful return to form, including her deep runs at subsequent Grand Slams, might be partially fueled by the lessons of that loss. Each time she faces Coco Gauff now, fans can sense the underlying tension, a rivalry defined by contrasting styles and mental fortitude. Coco Gauff, meanwhile, has embraced her role as the next great American hope. Since that victory, her confidence has soared, and her results have reflected that growth. The young American's composure under pressure has become her trademark, a quality that continues to frustrate opponents who rely on aggression to dominate. Against Sabalenka, Gauff's ability to absorb pace, redirect shots, and outlast her opponent in long rallies has proven decisive. Navratilova praised Gauff's maturity, noting that her calmness and strategic intelligence often make her look like a seasoned veteran rather than a player still early in her career. For Sabalenka, the loss to Gauff is symbolic of the fine margins in tennis, where momentum, psychology, and timing can alter outcomes in moments. Her game is built on power, but power alone can sometimes falter when faced with a player who thrives on consistency and defense. Analysts have often discussed how Sabalenka's emotional intensity, while a source of strength, can also lead to self-imposed pressure during critical points. Navratilova's observation that Sabalenka is still rueing the loss underscores that internal battle, the challenge of balancing passion with control, aggression with patience. Since that defeat, Sabalenka's growth as an athlete has been remarkable. She's worked on her mental conditioning, focusing on composure, resilience, and tactical flexibility. Coaches close to her have mentioned that she uses that US Open final as motivation rather than regret, channeling those emotions into improved performance. Her victories since then show a more balanced Sabalenka, still fiery and aggressive, but more measured in key moments. Every time she steps onto the court against Gauff or another top rival, fans can sense the intensity of a player who refuses to let the past define her but also won't forget it. The rivalry between Sabalenka and Gauff has become one of the most exciting storylines in women's tennis. Their contrasting personalities, Sabalenka's raw emotion versus Gauff's calm discipline, create compelling matchups that capture global attention. Each time they meet, the atmosphere is charged, with fans divided between admiration for Sabalenka's power and respect for Gauff's composure. Navratilova's comments only add depth to this rivalry, reminding everyone that beneath the athleticism lies an ongoing psychological battle that drives both players to improve. Beyond the emotional implications, the rivalry represents a broader generational shift in women's tennis. Gauff's rise signifies the emergence of a new wave of talent, while Sabalenka stands as one of the defining figures of the current era. Navratilova herself, having witnessed multiple generational transitions in her illustrious career, sees this dynamic as essential for the sport's evolution. Her perspective adds credibility to the notion that rivalries like this not only define careers but also elevate the entire tour, creating narratives that fans can connect to and invest in emotionally. The psychological aspect of competition, especially in tennis where players battle one-on-one, often determines outcomes more than physical ability. Sabalenka's intensity is her greatest weapon, but as Navratilova hinted, it can also be her Achilles heel when emotions run too high. Since the loss to Gauff, Sabalenka has become more self-aware, often speaking in interviews about her journey to manage nerves and maintain focus. She's shared how working with mental coaches and surrounding herself with a supportive team has helped her transform that painful experience into motivation. Martina Navratilova's insight carries weight not only because of her legendary career but also because she understands the emotional complexity of champions. Having experienced both triumphs and disappointments herself, she recognizes that even when athletes move on publicly, the memory of key losses can linger. For Sabalenka, the word rueing doesn't necessarily mean regret in a negative sense. It may reflect the internal fire that keeps her striving for perfection. Fans who admire her passion understand that every setback fuels her determination to return stronger. Social media has also played a role in keeping the memory of that final alive. Every time Sabalenka and Gauff meet, fans revisit clips of that fateful night, comparing tactics, emotions, and reactions. Memes, quotes, and highlight reels flood platforms, keeping the rivalry alive in the digital age. Sabalenka herself has occasionally referenced that match indirectly, expressing how it taught her valuable lessons about composure and self-belief. The continuing discussion around it demonstrates how some matches transcend sport, becoming cultural moments remembered for their emotion and drama as much as their technical brilliance. From a strategic standpoint, analysts have pointed out that Sabalenka has evolved her game since the US Open loss. Her serve, once erratic under pressure, has become more reliable. Her shot selection has improved, and she's learned to pace herself in long rallies rather than relying solely on brute force. These changes reflect a maturing player learning from experience. Navratilova, in her remarks, acknowledged this growth, suggesting that Sabalenka's continued success is evidence of how top athletes turn painful memories into fuel for progress. "You can tell she's using that loss as motivation," Navratilova said. "It's what great players do, they take heartbreak and transform it into strength." Meanwhile, Gauff continues to evolve as well, adding new dimensions to her game. The rivalry remains dynamic because both players push each other to adapt. When they face off, fans witness a clash not just of styles but of mindsets. Sabalenka's raw aggression meeting Gauff's analytical calm. Navratilova's remark about Sabalenka's still, rueing, the loss captures that emotional undercurrent, the feeling that no matter how much time passes, some matches stay with players forever. Off the court, Sabalenka remains one of the WTA Tour's most engaging personalities. Her candid interviews, humor, and authenticity endear her to fans. Even when discussing tough moments like the loss to Gauff, she does so with honesty, acknowledging her emotions without hiding behind clichés. That openness is part of what makes her so compelling. Fans relate to her because she expresses joy and frustration openly, reflecting the full emotional spectrum of sport. As the tennis world looks ahead, the Sabalenka-Gauff rivalry is expected to remain central to the WTA narrative. Both players represent different eras, styles, and approaches to the game, yet their encounters always deliver drama, intensity, and quality. Navratilova's comments have reignited interest in how Sabalenka mentally processes competition, but they've also highlighted her resilience. Few players could suffer such a high-profile loss and return stronger, but Sabalenka has done exactly that. Her performances since then demonstrate that while the sting of that defeat may still linger, it also fuels her hunger to claim more titles and ultimately redefine her legacy. The emotional dimension of sport, especially tennis, is what keeps fans invested. Sabalenka's journey from heartbreak to resurgence resonates because it mirrors the human experience, facing setbacks, learning from them, and striving to overcome. Navratilova's insight serves as a reminder that even the strongest competitors carry emotional scars, but those scars often become the foundation for future triumphs. In Sabalenka's case, her story continues to evolve, and each match adds a new layer to her ongoing pursuit of greatness. As both Sabalenka and Gauff continue to compete at the highest levels, fans eagerly anticipate their next encounter. Will Sabalenka finally avenge that loss? Will Gauff maintain her psychological edge? The answers will unfold in time, but one thing is certain: this rivalry has become one of the defining narratives of modern tennis. And thanks to Martina Navratilova's candid observation, fans are once again reminded that behind every powerful forehand and roaring celebration lies a human story of determination, reflection, and redemption. This is Stefan with Trending Update USA, bringing you the full story on Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and the emotional truths that drive the sport we love. Stay tuned for more tennis updates, highlights, and insights as the season unfolds.